a resort of the 21st century. Now let's come down to earth and see a resort that's been going here just 100 miles west of Denver for about 30 years, called Vail. And Jerry Ford gave it quite a bit of publicity in its early days, but it didn't need it. It's now the largest single mountain complex in North America. The town itself is 9 miles long on Interstate 70, and they held the World Alpine Championships there just 2 years ago. And we'll go back in time a little to see some that were held in the late 60s here. The downhill trail bringing some of the best of Europe, and the slalom. For those who don't know, a slalom is a controlled course of skill in turning as well as speed, and some of them had a problem with both. Austrian girl fell, lost her hat and goggles. If you look, the goggles, well, rolled back into her hand, the hat she left behind for a souvenir, slightly behind schedule. William Kidd of the USA, coming down here now, won a gold medal in recent years, but today he's having a nightmare in slow motion, a bad day at the office as he goes over and over and over. He's now head of the Steamboat Springs Ski School. Nancy Green of Canada, this was the run that made her the best lady skier in the world, and then she did the right thing, married her coach, Al Rain, and they produced a pair of skiing twins. By an odd coincidence, an adult pair of twins was among the spectators. You can tell them apart. The one on the right smokes. On the right, in a pink shirt, Jean-Claude Killy of France, before he turned pro, with Karl Schranz of Austria. And a few months later, these two had quite a battle in a fog-shrouded Olympic slope in France. And when it was over, Jean-Claude became the second man in the world to have won 3 gold medals in the sport of Olympic skiing. Here is his style at Vail. There are some who say it's unorthodox. They're usually the ones who just lost to him in a race. He may lose his hat, as he does here, but he doesn't lose much else in the way of races. And now that he's turned pro and is doing a lot of endorsements, Fort Knox calls him up every month and checks on the price of gold. And she's still working on her pack of cigarettes there. As we go on up the mountainside here, we'll go up to the top of Vail for a little fun ourselves, 11,300 feet above sea level. Skiers are an odd breed. They'd rather do their own thing, which is ski, rather than watch world-class athletes do it. And that's a healthy sign, I think. It was the day before Easter. I thought we'd come halfway to heaven, hamburger heaven. One rare to go with all the trimming. Over here, 2 well done to stay all day. And 1 hot dog served with relish. Because it was Easter, there was a self-appointed style show among the ladies in the hat department, vaguely from Vogue, and looking as if she'll cancel their subscription if anybody else shows up in the same outfit, shocking pink to match the Parker and lipstick of Helen Howard from Ghost Point. Over here, something I call galloping gardenias, and over there, my old favorite, yummy yellow. That was the end of my style show, and a good thing too, as my wife tells me. Vail is big, and they have over 100 trails, some of them interesting names like Chicken Yard, Après-Vous, Cow's Face, one at the bottom that was never open, so you skied the one above, which was open seldom. It got complicated. All the bowls were open, and it was late March. They faced south, so you better get out early. Sleepyhead to wait until noon will be cavorting in about 2,000 acres of instant mashed potatoes. But if you take the first chairlift, it's prima, first class. They used to claim you had to go over to the Alps of Europe to get skiing like this, but that was before we opened up our mountains in Western America and Canada. Now we found that our snow is superior to that of Europe because it's a lot farther from moist winds of an ocean, and we have much better uphill conveyances with our new high-speed quad lifts and better grumming. We've caught up with Europe, and we've overtaken it, in my opinion. And we were overtaking a skier who had a style that looked familiar. He was skiing with those twins we saw earlier, you remember? They stopped smoking and are starting to ski. They're 29 years old, each of them, which is the way twins operate. And he skied down through them. It was Lowell Thomas, and I'm sure some of you older people may remember him, famous broadcaster, adventurer. Lowell loved the sport. He did so much to promote it, giving his nightly radio broadcasts from places like Sun Valley all around the country when they heard his organ-like tones. Good evening, everybody. This is Lowell Thomas broadcasting from Sun Valley, and now for the World News. They thought, gee, maybe skiers aren't crazy after all.